Hello, I'm Victor Martinez Jr. and you are watching the Hight Today Show, and we are here with Colton Luther.
Yo.
How we doing, sir?
Good, bro.
Tell us about yourself.
Well, it's an honor to be here on the Hight Today Show. I've been here once. Been here once, kind of as a sidecar, as a part of the Jeremy Greens team. But
yeah, I met you through our sponsor, Jeremy.
That's right.
Shout out Jeremy Greens.
But yeah, it's cool to come back, dude. I always love getting in this room. I think that's like probably one of the coolest things. Even between my show and your show is like, you know, the creek's on its way up. It's got some Netflix specials under its belt. It's got some, you know, good headliners lately. And dude, I think that makes an effect on all the projects that happen in this room. I'm a big person of like energies and, you know, vibes and what rooms do what for certain people and associations. So
yeah, no,
it's
I
cool
feel
to be
real
here.
like happy to even be just present amongst it, you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy how timing works. And like I was just visiting here, and then all of a sudden it still feels like I'm just visiting. Like I just came here for a weekend out of COVID from LA, and then all of a sudden I got stuck here, you know?
Well, it's real, buddy. You're here.
Yeah, like 4 years in now, and I've got some fucking roots, you know? I still got to get my Texas ID, but yeah, no, we're here now. And where are you from? You from Houston?
Here, bro. I'm a 6th generation Texan, man.
Whoa.
I'll never leave.
You're not even for a little bit,
Nah,
huh?
I mean, I'll leave for vacation, but that's it.
Okay, so you've been doing Texas through and through.
Texas through and through.
And how'd you get started in this industry now? What would you say you do? Are you a podcaster, an influencer, marketer?
A little of this, a little of that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, really, I'm a marketer. Marketing and sales is my big thing. I've been able to scale a bunch of brands nationwide, some of them into different markets across the U.S. But you know, really my bread and butter now is Texas. So I have a few projects that I work on right now where we're basically trying to scale Texas brands across the state. And a lot of my people are very true to the Texas stuff. Like Texarkana Organics is one that I'm working with. They're an edible company. It's like small batch craft edibles. You can probably start to find them at least on Austin shelves and some beyond in Houston, stuff like that. But super high quality. We're a real big competitor with Hometown Hero. I'm sure a lot of people know that brand, but we're kind of like right up there with those guys, I would think. And then of course, you can't forget Jeremy Greens. We've been growing Texas hemp or cannabis, whatever you want to call it, for Texans for 3 or 4 years now. And really the market is exploding as of late. So just now dialing in our grow and our process is there even more. We won a bunch of awards recently. We've kind of made that awards circuit. You can find us in Austin, Texas, exclusively at the Glassmith and a few other of our partners. But really, that's just an Austin, Texas brand at the moment.
So your biggest thing is working on the business side of the cannabis
right.
community.
The business side. I mean, I'm not in the grow on the plants every single day. Now, obviously, I do my part, and I try to be here a few days out of every week.
Right, to help them out. Yeah,
living
I love
in Houston, it's
like
not
that.
always easy, but
trimming and whatnot. I just love being on the farm.
Trimming, harvesting.
What came first? Was it like, were you smoking first, or were you already like involved in helping businesses out?
Yeah, I mean, like I started smoking when I was a full adult, so I didn't have this experience in high school or anything when I was really young, which I think plays like a giant part in how I've turned it into a career. But yeah, no, I started smoking when I was in college. I had just quit playing ice hockey at a very, very high level. I mean, you could say pro, but I mean, I didn't really make much money. But
oh, you were an athlete.
I was an athlete. So
you punch people?
Oh yeah, fights,
you were that kind of hockey
hits,
player?
Goals. Yeah, I could do it all. And so what ended up happening was I got concussions. Like the more you fight,
CTE
the more you
shit?
hit. Yeah,
you rattled your brain.
Rattled my brain, dude. So I was finding ways in college to be able to focus and deal with headaches and anxiety and stuff like that. And I never was an alcohol person. Like I really don't even drink today. I'm not a drinking person.
Dude, I went like on not a bender, but I was like I drank more than I usually do earlier this week, and I didn't like it. People were asking me if I was angry. I was hosting a show, and they're like, "You seem off. You seem mad." And I didn't know. I was so disconnected. I was like, "What do I?" Yeah, it'll fucking creep up on you. Like a shot in a beer is fun, but then all of a sudden you build up to 6 of them just to feel that.
Dude, I couldn't even tell you last time I had that. I can't even tell you last time I smoked a fucking like wood or anything like this.
Big old doinker like this? Oh, this is just a Sunday afternoon for me, sir.
It's a Hight Today show. But yeah, no, I mean, for me, really, it was My exposure to cannabis was obviously as an adult, but it was in a medical outlet. I wasn't like obviously in a program or going to a dispensary. I was buying from, a dealer or whatever at the time, but it definitely helped me focus, definitely got me away from wanting to do pills, wanting to, try prescriptions, pills, alcohol, or anything like that. Especially as a young man, it kept me kind of, I would say, more tame than anything. And then over the years now, just being an adult, I mean, I wanted to find a way to do things I wanted to do, not things I had to do. And as of this last year or so, it's really taken off. But I just always kept cannabis in the forefront and treated it like a business, not like a hobby, not like a part-time thing. And I started to pick projects and clients in the industry that were doing it the same way. They were there for the business and to help people. They weren't there because they wanted to smoke weed all day and have a job or a company, So I try to weed out the people I work with.
Weed out.
The people I work with between, I like to say, the posers and then the people who are actual entrepreneurs and actually in this industry.
Some people are just like caricatures. That's how it started. It was all just like, you see a pothead and you think it's like Cheech and Chong or like just someone who's goofy. You don't think a businessman in a suit.
No, dude.
And that's exactly what I'm going for. Yeah, that's why I love talking to you, man. I love that. I'm trying to get rid of that stigma for sure.
Dude, another cool thing is like, I think what drew me to it more on the business side was being in Texas. It's like good old boy conservative kind of stuff for the most part, obviously with the exception of major cities and here and there. But for the most part, most people are still a little bit behind the times. They're still a little bit against cannabis and some of the more progressive things. And I love that because me too, right? I mean, I'm not here for it all. I'm here for some, but I'm not here for it all. And so to me, it was also a draw of like being an outlaw, like kind of being a pioneer and an outlaw and kind of going and taking those risks in an industry where not only did people not support you from the outside, but even when you're inside, it's kind of cutthroat, right? And the Wild West.
It gets cliquey in any situation.
Totally.
Like literally, it's just like high school all over again.
Totally.
Whatever you get into comedy, you get into business, you get into cannabis, there's always some cool kids. There's always some weirdos.
Always.
And I'm over here just a social butterfly, just trying to analyze everybody.
Yeah.
No, that's cool, man. So, all right. So you got out of, you kind of get out of hockey and you get more into cannabis and you're already studying business?
Yeah. I actually went to school for politics, for political science.
No shit.
Which is another thing. Like
you could be a president or something.
Vote for me one day, governor first.
Yeah. I was about
Texas
to say,
governor
dude.
First and then president. Yeah. No,
you got the look, man.
Yeah. I mean, really it was, to me, the business side was probably the most attractive, but politically and legislatively, this is a very interesting concept. Like hemp or cannabis in Texas it's got, some muddy waters, right? Like you have to really know where to look and how to read law and how to read different things that people release in order to have better conversations with your own legal team and, make change and stuff like that. Right. And like, I have a extensive background in politics in Texas because of my father. My father's really involved. My father was a law enforcement person. So I kind of grew up with that too. And now here I am kind of.
Is he still like he's retired or whatnot?
No, yeah, he's been retired, but very high level law enforcement official. I mean, and now working in politics all around Texas. But it's crazy how much I've used what I learned in school just to navigate the industry and the waters of cannabis in Texas.
Does he know what you do?
Of course.
Yeah. How does he feel about it? Really?
Very supportive. Very interesting.
From the very beginning.
From the very beginning.
My dad hates weed.
Yeah, but see, that's what's funny is like my dad was the cop, and my mom wasn't. My mom hates it more than my dad.
Yeah, but they both hate it.
My dad likes the fact that I'm doing it as a business. I'm not I'm not building a cartel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some people think we are. Some people think, Jeremy Greens and Colton and all that.
Yeah, I know. My face tattoos don't help, but like,
yeah, we don't. Yeah,
I know. I try to get that across too. It's like, no, this is a legit thing, right?
Completely legit. It's like, and that's what's making it so much more fun is kind of the, fuck you, I read the law attitude that we can navigate and operate under. But yeah, dude, I mean, I use this shit more than once a day. I mean, the things that I learned in law classes and policy classes and And then it's a shame when I watch people, from my iPhone or whatever, my ivory tower of being a grower, that are out there in the industry that are making kind of a bad name, like 2 steps backwards.
Right.
I don't get the Last Prisoner Project shit where you throw a party with alcohol to free people from jail that have been locked up for cannabis. Oh, dude, totally. It's just a fundraiser. I don't want to say it's, a sham because I can't talk openly about them.
Okay, well, fundraisers are rough, right?
Right.
Just generally, whenever it comes to anybody like Red Cross or 80-90% of that goes towards the people that run those companies.
Yeah, and not the industry and not the people in prison. If I was in prison, I would be pissed to hear that there's people celebrating and having a giant soiree of party with
that's too bad.
Sponsors
I had no idea.
and weed everywhere, while I'm locked up. I think that's insulting. Plus, I think the things where, the marches, the smoke weed on the Capitol steps and all that stuff. I mean, sure, I think it's great. We can all be confident and proud about cannabis and what it's doing for people or even ourselves. But I also think that's kind of like a double-edged sword, and you kind of go 2 steps back when you do some of that stuff because you're playing into the stigma, in my opinion. It's
What's
not
the
like
best way to attack it then?
Literally start a business, keep your head down, become too big to ignore and too big to fail. Ride the line and follow the policy, and then of course donate, make some donations to different lobbyists that are going to do things in your favor, and honestly, get FaceTime with politicians and show them, just like you said, I'm not the kid that is wearing the baggy pants and the hoodie and everything that lives with his mom. I have businesses with an S. And, we are doing a lot of good things for the industry, for Texans, most importantly, and the people in our local communities. And, we hire people out of college that are studying horticulture and biology and chemistry and stuff like that. This industry is providing a lot more outlets for people like that are actually graduating. And that to me has been, I think the actual epitome of our success was we didn't join the cliques. We didn't go to the events. We didn't go march and smoke weed in the streets or anything like that. We stayed in the grow and we did what we were good at.
I went to a normal event that was going on in Fort Worth. And I didn't know what was going on. Normal was interesting. They were marching down Main Street in Fort Worth, and it was 2012, and I was just graduating high school, and I didn't know what was going on. I mean, I knew they were advocates for weed, but I didn't realize that they were about to start lighting up in the middle of the street, and it wasn't nearly as okay as it is here now, and fucking 2023. This was a decade ago. I felt like we were gonna get arrested,
for sure,
corralled with horses. It was scary. I thought Walker Texas Ranger was gonna take me down himself. But and it's still kind of like that in Dallas. But
the scenes are different. Every city has a different scene. Houston's real underground, trap house. Black market. I would say there's private events with armed security, and you can get into and buy weed and shop and all that stuff. But it's just it's really gray. And then San Antonio is still emerging. I think it's very young still. And then Dallas, of course, Dallas is right up there with Oklahoma. So you have a lot of bleed over and stuff from that market. And, Dallas, I don't even like to talk about Dallas. Fort Worth, yes, all day. Fort Worth, howdy. But not Dallas, man. That's basically California now too.
That's business. It's minus the weed and everything else. That's just straight up all they're there to get some money. And
we don't like to even, that's why we serve Austin. We like to stay in the grow and we like to do what we're good at.
How come you don't move out here?
It's getting there.
I think you got some clothes out here.
I have a love-hate relationship with this city. But I have the same with Houston. It's the large influx of people. And where I live in the country. I live on 50 acres of land.
I keep meaning to come out there. You keep telling me about it, dude.
Anytime.
Absolutely.
It's our own little compound. But we live on 50 acres outside of the city, so obviously we can pick and choose. But yeah, I'm just not a city urban person, really, dude. I use it to my advantage. I use Houston and I go into town and set meetings and do the business side. But as far as my personal, I choose and prefer the country and the solace of my neighbor is 50 acres away from me.
We got a city here. We got a major up and coming city, and we still got deers in the street and shit.
Yeah,
it's a little bit of both.
Oh yeah, dude, absolutely. But yeah, it's getting there, dude. I'm looking for a rental property. or an investment property that I can buy here, like maybe out in the suburbs somewhere, put, a tenant in one room and use the extra room to come and go as I please, and then Airbnb it out here willy-nilly, because it's just,
You're moving a lot anyway. I
all
see you
over.
like you're constantly, if you're not driving, then you're
All
flying
over, bro.
somewhere.
Yeah. And that's like something about me too that a lot of people don't get exposure to is, and I do have friends by some grace of God, and they don't totally see me all the time. And, people ask why, but I'm literally always going. Like, I'm going to my clients for meetings. I'm going to events that they're hosting. I'm going to the farm to put in hours. I'm going to the Capitol. I'm going to other states to learn about other facilities and other industries and the successes and failures of rec and medical and other industries, and the trials and tribulations that other operators are going through, MSOs are going through. And I'm bringing that back home, and me and my boys are basically putting that into our operation, learning from it and advancing. And that's what I mean. Like, I love that Jeremy's now, we have this website launched. We're kind of more open and out there because we've waited a long, long, long time to be like that. And it wasn't because we were scared or hiding anything. It was more of the focus. Like, we're in the grow working on producing the best product so that nobody stands a chance. That's what we were doing. And that's now showing in all of our awards, of course, but our product that we put out every day. And we don't worry about other people. We don't talk shit when we go out to sell. We don't talk shit about other people's products. We try to help people as much as we can, but yet it's not reciprocated. Sometimes there's some shit talking, about us, which is crazy, because if you can't sell your product based on its own quality or merit, don't talk shit. Just come talk to us, because we can help you. And it's not easy. Like, we don't have ego. We don't have pride. And a lot of these people in this industry, I don't think should have a huge ego or should have a ton of pride, because it's so new. Not everybody in the state that's growing or manufacturing or selling products knows everything. And our consumers damn sure do not know everything.
It's changing every day anyway.
Every single second.
Like, literally, so what was it, 2 days ago that he got rescheduled?
Rescheduled. And, that comes with whatever problems and changes it will. But, dude, even like THCA. I mean, people see THCA and they're like, nah, I don't want that. That's fake weed. And I mean, if you look up anything close to chemical structure of THCA and how it works and the decarboxylation process and everything, I mean, you're going to be educated enough to realize that that's not fake weed.
How do you like find the brain capacity to keep all that in your head, man?
Smoke.
Like, all this information, and actually like you retain it. You hear these things, and I'm aware of them, but I wouldn't be able to just spit it out like that. You're sharp.
It's what I do every day, dude.
You love it. I mean,
you have to.
You
have
actually
to
have an interest.
You have to love it.
Other than just like, knowing it, like you give a shit.
Well, they say, for me, it was like, how when you have a kid, everything changes. You view the world different, right? I don't have a kid, but the first time I was exposed to plants, like the plants growing in their natural habitat and their natural form and from the earth, and I could see the leaves and the crystals and the smell and the stickiness, and I walk into a room, that's growing, hundreds of plants, and you take in that aroma and you feel the energy. It changed everything for me. Like,
it feels like being in a room full of people. You ever been in a room? It feels like an audience. I've been in front of a lot of audiences. I swear, like being in a grow room feels like a bunch of people. Like
I can't describe it.
Fucking alive.
To me, it's like walking into like probably the same thing that people have when they walk into church or when they walk into their family home or something, where it's like this energy of comfort and relaxation and relief and connection. And once I got exposed to that with Jeremy, I mean, way back, I mean, he was growing hemp outside in a pasture, one little greenhouse, and now we have this like indoor facility and hundreds and thousands of plants and everything. And once I got that exposure to it, it even enhanced and changed my view a ton, and that just pulled back another layer of like passion and interest and motivation too, because I don't want my friends to buy from the cartel to get their weed, or the plug on the street with, and God knows how many hands have touched that product before you got it. I didn't want that for me. I didn't want that for my close friends and family. I really don't want that for any Texans. Mm-hmm. And so when I knew we could do this right and do the grow side, I was definitely all in. And so the interest and the passion also makes it a lot easier. there's definitely people smarter than me, more knowledgeable than me in different areas. But it's like, guys that sell cars could talk to you about cars all day because that's what they do. And that's kind of like the same thing. But my personal life too is cannabis. Like my career, my day job, day to day is cannabis. My podcast, cannabis. My hobbies, cannabis. With my friends, cannabis.
Shout out Puff and Prosper.
Puff and Prosper. Dude, we're on, I don't even know, 12 or 13 episodes now. I'm not the most high speed person, but I had the goal of making it past episode 3, and we did that pretty easily. And then I had the goal again of just making it through 10. So I did that. So now my third goal is getting to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. YouTube's the only place I'm really posting that now, just because of, everybody has their own opinions on cannabis content of any types. And even though I don't smoke on it or anything, I keep it real clean. I don't want to take the risk and deal with the hassle of putting my stuff and my art everywhere just for them to rip it down. So
yeah,
YouTube's
I get
pretty
worried
much my
about
home
that.
now.
And so they don't do that?
No, I think I've gotten age restricted a few times, but that's okay. I don't want kids to see my shit anyway,
Right, they shouldn't be having to worry about
But
smoking.
everything's been great on YouTube. And I think with the TikTok thing changing, I don't know which way it's going to go yet. Nobody knows, but
yeah, they made TikTok illegal and weed legal. Yeah.
We're almost there. We're worrying about the things that matter. But I think with TikTok changing or going away or changing or whatever, right, there could be a drop in usage and, people being on that platform. So I think YouTube is just going to dominate. And something else that people don't realize with YouTube is that it's Google.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube is Google. So the more effort you put on YouTube and the more you tell it who you are and what terms you're related to, the more likely you can be recommended in search for people that are searching things, weed podcasts, cannabis information, THC near me, all those different things. You can start, your content for YouTube can start getting recommended by Google just because of you putting out and putting on the platform.
So that's what you're focused on now, huh?
That's what I'm focused on now is attention, because the farm's going good, the industry's going good. We just need more attention. Like
That's
I said,
exactly how I'm feeling. Like
yeah.
I feel like I got all the other plates spinning just exactly how I need them. It's like, now I just need to like all that stuff. I mean, I knew it was like banking up to the point where like, I mean, I was either gonna, like you were talking about earlier, outsource it, get someone from like another country to just chop it up and do it for me. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna have to put them out. Like, you have to set a schedule. What is it? I was talking to, all right, the butthole guy last week. He talked a lot of crazy stuff, but a few pearls that came out of that butthole was that you got to post at least twice a day, and it's got to be 30 seconds to a minute. It's got to be good stuff. It's got to be like what matters, the substance, like, some highlights, and no one's going to do it but you. No one's going to like,
no one has the eye for it too.
Right.
Like, when a gem has been dropped and, just an editor out there from anywhere, he or she wasn't in this room. They don't have the vision for the Hight Tonight show or Hight Today show, so you definitely, there is an aspect. Like what I'll do when I outsource stuff is like, I'll go get actual timestamps of the exact moments of the episode that I want cut, to just already kind of guide these people to my vision. But that still takes time, even though I'm not editing per se. It still takes time. But it's definitely like it's a project. Like
it's ongoing.
I didn't realize
it's a big thing,
When I started Puff and Prosper, I had my own mics, a switcher, and my iPhone, one camera angle, and I just loaded it up in my truck. I took it everywhere. I would just drop in on people and set it up. And then I was like, okay, if I'm doing the audio visual, if I'm hosting, and then I'm doing posts, I'm editing everything, and I'm posting it to all the platforms, this is already a full-time gig. I need a team for this. Now, thank God I have people like Julia in my life who is like my right hand. She's always next to me. She's always with me for years. She supports everything I do. So obviously I had some people to delegate to, but for the most part, it's on me. And I was able to, just as you have here with this, meet up with people and get people on my team that were able to do some of the things I wasn't so good at, which allowed me to just be the host, and host the best, not be the best. And that's really where I found my calling too. When you talk about getting attention and all this, now is the time to start gathering a lot of that attention, especially right now in Texas with our market doing what it's doing, to be like the number one face and mouth out there just strutting your stuff and spitting, you know, everything you got going on, because it was kind of a gray area for a long time if you could do that or not. And so,
how do you feel about like performing and whatnot, like
dude, I mean,
getting in front of
I
that?
love it, dude.
Do you get on stage? Have you ever tried that? I
You
know
know,
we hang out
I
a lot,
have-
but I don't think you've ever like.
Here's a funny story. In high school, dude, in high school, I was into music. So I had like, after hockey and everything, I picked up guitar and I told myself like, I'm going to change my hobby, my identity. And so I picked up guitar and started learning. I started drumming and everything too. And a lot of my friends played music. And so we did talent shows and everything, and we got convinced to do an actual show. And so it turned out that for the show, it was just going to be me and a couple other people on the stage. And we were just going to go on the line and everyone was going to play a song or whatever. And so I got up there, and then of course, like, I don't do this. So I didn't practice. I didn't rehearse. I tried to have a cheat sheet in front of me and everything. And I got through maybe one song out of the, like 5 that I was supposed to do. And the rest of the time, I started telling jokes. And I just started making jokes and making people laugh. And that was like a pretty good rush, you know? And I'd always have it in my back of my mind to try to do that again. I definitely have some like experiences and some bits and stuff that I think would go well. I just haven't spent time on that. You know,
remember what you
doing
talked
so
about
much
the first time?
I mean, I was in high school. I was making jokes about Kanye and all kinds of stuff. I was trying to cover a Kanye song, so I made some jokes about like that, you know, like fuck Kanye for writing this song, like
That's
shit, that's why I
funny.
can't get it right and shit like that.
I remember my first time. I joked about Adele and porn. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun. I was a teenager as well. Yeah, but I was hooked since then. But yeah,
Dude, I thought about it. I mean, seeing Jeremy go up on the Hight Tonight Show and stuff, you know, it definitely.
because we
proved I can-
interviewed you in front of the audience. It was in a smaller place. It was at-
420, the brewery.
yeah. Like I don't know how many. It was last year, or the year before that. I think it was last year. And yeah, that was fun. But like we got to get you in front of an audience, man.
Dude, I would do it. I'm. The only thing is like if I get a hold of something, I fucking let it.
Oh no, yeah, you
rip,
don't need
dude.
another.
I don't go
hobby.
half-ass, so that's
Yeah.
why I've been waiting. You know, I'm waiting. Like, it's like that's like a phase 3. I'm in phase 2 right now. Phase 1 was getting everything started. Phase 2 is making sure that the boat floats.
Mhm.
Phase 3 is going to be getting myself out of it and doing more of what I want and getting more of that attention. So we're right there. I think maybe end of 2024, you could probably see me on the Hight Tonight Show.
It's
for
just
sure.
good practice, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
especially.
dude, I have so many stories, like crazy. I mean, like, dude, I've gone and hung out with Burner.
Who?
Burner, the cookies guy. You know who Burner is?
I'm sorry.
Holy shit. We'll cut
Do
that
you
one
know
out.
who that is?
You know who Burner is?
Okay, good. All right.
All right, the guy who started cookies, right?
Okay.
He's,
So cookies is a weed brand.
weed icon brand, like
Yeah, they're-
totally the biggest.
Everyone knows. Like, they get rapped about,
Yeah.
and they have like a big facility in Los Angeles, I think.
Yeah, all over now. They're a multi-state operator. But I've gotten to hang out with industry legends like that. And you know, I think there's a lot of and from that there's been a lot of cool, crazy stories that, you know, people have told me or that I've been able to be a part of, like just by taking tours in people's places and stuff like that. And I try to write them down every now and then when I think of them, or I remember like, hey, this was pretty funny. And so, you know, I'm going to try to bring some of those out, not only on my podcast, but, you know, maybe to a stage near you sometime soon. But
Yeah, man, you come to a mic that I host and just
Oh, hell
fuck
yeah.
around in front of the comedians,
fuck yeah.
just to see how it feels. You know, they're not the best audience all the time, but just to see how you feel, you know, with a mic in your hand, and you'll probably end up just like giving a TED talk about weed anyway.
Totally. And that in of itself is actually funny.
yeah,
Like I said, I actually, like one of these was I had the most awesome experience. I went to go buy papers and they had just been broken into. And so the door was like boarded up and the glass was still there. And I walked in, I was like, holy shit, dude, what happened to your door? And he was like, bro, craziest thing. Guy comes in, we were already closed like by 5 minutes. Nobody was here. Guy breaks the window, walks straight over here, grabs a Puffco off the shelf, and walks straight out. And I was like, that's the most stoner crime I've ever fucking heard in my life, dude. Like, think about that. Like, you just picked up rosin. You just have like the most fire dabs of your life, and it's 11:05, 5 minutes after the smoke shop closed, man. And you're like, there's nothing keeping me between me and these fucking terps. And I'm getting a Puffco right now. And you just bust the door. And at least they didn't like drive the fucking car through.
That's what I thought happened.
But
Oh
I
my
would,
God.
the only thing that made it funner is if you left a note like, sorry, bro, we'll be back to pay later, or like left cash. Like I was like, that is just hilarious. That's stoners for you right there. Even if we're gonna commit a crime, we're only gonna do the little path of least resistance
Yeah,
to
like
get
the
what we need, and it's
laziest-
probably based around just getting a smoke.
as most of those little, but yeah, I don't know, is that white collar, green collar crime something?
Likely, green collar, yeah.
So let's see here. What else do we want to talk about? What's in the future for you? What do you have,
Dude,
other
a lot,
than
man.
planning on getting on stage and whatnot? Like, what's the next step? What's the next big step?
Like really the anthem this year is just getting attention, going on as many shows and podcasts
I
and
appreciate
stages.
you coming on this one, man.
Always.
Thank you.
I love this show. I love this spot. So
Getting more and more involved. I want to talk to some of the people you talk to. So like who's under your
Likewise.
belt?
Dude, I just did Texas Tubes, Kevin Ivey. So he's like a glassblower, really well-known glassblower. He's out of Austin. He's actually in the vault. It's waiting to go out. I just did You So Love, who's a rapper, musician, fashion icon kind of a thing. I mean, this guy does, he does stuff. He has pieces sold in Nordstrom's and like all kinds of stuff on the fashion game. And then of course he's got records with like Currency and Smoke DZA and like all these other big smoking or like stoner artists. And so he was my latest episode. Peter Dante, I'm hoping will come out and bless us with his presence. The guy from all the Sandler movies and stuff like that. Peter Dante's a trip.
Him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's cool. Trying to get some more Austinite people. Rachel would be cool, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to go one-on-one with Rachel because there's so much to dive in with that, with her mom and like her upbringing, and then Jackass is crazy.
It was.
I
fun
wouldn't
talking to her
fucking
about
step
that.
foot on a Jackass set. I don't care how much the contract was,
Man,
dude.
she told some fucking stories.
Fuck that. I'm sorry. I'll watch it all day, but I'd never get near those motherfuckers. Maybe now they're all old, they're all old and chill and recovering. Maybe now is the time to go on Jackass, but not in the heyday. That's for sure, dude. But yeah, no, I have a ton of good stuff coming. I'm trying to keep it really high profile. The space that I'm allowed to use, Soundshed Studios, shout out to them. Matt Alvarez over there at Soundshed has built, Rogan's
Different
set.
Matt Alvarez.
Different Matt Alvarez than the one with the High Tonight Show, but Matt over there has built Joe Rogan's studio, Your Mom's House for Tom Segura, and Two Bears, One Cave, and all those. So he opened up his public spot for me to just start ripping, and he's been like essential, honestly, in the growth of the show. He guides me a lot of, hey, that one went well, it really was funny, or that one was dry, and then what guests to get on. And so super thankful for that. I have a ton of high profile people. Just because of that studio that, I send them a picture of the studio and who it is, and they're like, oh shit, yeah, okay, cool. I'm going to try to get Citizen Cope. His name's Clarence. He's like a musician, like singer-songwriter, artist. Pretty like, I don't know, it's not like reggae, but it's like, I don't know, it's like chill stoner music to me. Yeah, I got a lot of like high profile people. And then in the real world, dude, we are full blown at Jeremy Green's. We're full tilt right now, so that's kind of dominating a lot of my time and mental focus because the THCA flower demand is through the roof right now. So we have legal harvested cannabis material that tests below the legal limit of 0.3% Delta 9 THC by a dry weight basis. That is how we are doing business these days. All that mouthful. So
how do you find the energy? Aren't you tired? Does weed like fuel you?
Fuck yeah.
Does it?
Fuck yeah.
It makes me heavy sometimes. I don't know. Maybe I'm doing too much indica or something.
I don't know. I think it's all about your body, dude. Like that's what's crazy is I can chain smoke, with the best of them. Mm-hmm. But Julia, my girlfriend, will outsmoke me anytime, anywhere, any type of weed. Anything. Like we've done like other drugs and I've like looked over and my face will just be melting off. I'm like, how are you still surviving? And she's just like, eh.
Yeah.
It has to do with your body, like your cannabinoid system and different combinations of things, So
you don't drink any coffee or nothing?
Oh, hell yeah. Okay. Oh God, yeah.
Have you already had some today?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
How much? What do you drink?
I'm a traditionalist. I drink cappuccinos, like espresso drinks. Kind of a little bit of a connoisseur on the coffee too.
No shit.
Yeah, coffee and weed. That's it, man. That's all that runs through this vessel.
I don't think I do enough. I do like one or two. Like I'll do a latte or like yeah. I like love the ice.
None of that
lattes.
ice shit. I don't do that ice shit.
No, why not? You're a naturalist.
I'm not a
huh?
white girl.
Oh wow.
I'm a white man.
I guess I am a white girl at heart.
That's right. Yeah, coffee, dude. Coffee's what keeps me going. I mean, weed has always been a focus thing for me. It's never been a distraction. It's never been like a demotivator. It's actually a motivator. If I smoke and I don't have anything to do, like I'll go insane because it just has that effect for me, you know? And obviously like there's a bell curve too. People don't know this about cannabis consumption. There's like a bell curve, right? So it's a big giant hook. So going up the hill, you're consuming and it's great, right? And so you go and go and go and go and go. And eventually you will peak. You never know when it is. You never know where. But in
I'm
consumption
now, I just finished my vodka
Yeah.
Red Bull, and I'm like a blunt and a quarter in.
There you go.
And this is like I'm in my zone.
That's a serious
I
cocktail.
could go home and do some chores.
That's right. And so you go on this consumption until you get to your peak, right? And then over that hill on the downside is like negative effects. I mean, like, you know, grogginess, headaches, and all kinds of stuff like that. So, and even with edibles, like that's where I really don't see that with smoking, but like edibles, if you take like 25, 50 milligrams of edibles and you don't really know what to expect, if that's too much for you, you can have high for a little while, but eventually you'll start to get some, you know, negative effects on the back end of that. It's called the biphasic effect.
No shit.
Yeah.
I believe you.
Some more shit. Yeah. Not a doctor. No, this is not legal advice or medical advice.
When's the last time you've had what do they call it? A tea break? Or just like just
recently?
Yeah.
Dude, I was sick. Yeah. Like anytime I get sick or anything like with allergies or anything respiratory, I shut it down, dude. Shut it down. And
nothing,
then
just water and tea and
tea.
Some herbs and
I'll do like a
honey.
ginger lemon kind of a hot water hottie toddy thing. But
what's the longest you'll go off? Like a week or so?
Yeah, probably a week.
What's the longest you've gone without then?
I would say maybe like 4 days, 5 days. I took a trip
in all these years.
All these years, yeah.
Holy shit!
It's not very
I've
often
gone like
either.
a month though, like 4 months.
See, I've never needed to. A
Mm.
lot of people want to, or they say they need to, or like, oh, I don't get high anymore.
Done
I've never.
too many edibles or something like that.
No,
Man,
I'm blessed. My endocannabinoid system
You
is
gotta pop your
primed.
bubble, dude.
Yeah. Well, I took this trip to the desert, and so it was pretty funny because this was like years ago. I mean, I think Trump was still president then, but like it was still chaos down by the border, right? Always. And so we went to this trip to Terlingua and Big Bend out in like West Texas. And we loaded up a ton of fucking edibles and bud and stuff. And we were going to all these state parks and we were like, oh, this is going to be amazing because we're going to hike and we're going to be able to pop open a freshly rolled doobie and enjoy the view and smoke it up and live our, you know, lives on cloud nine, right? And so we drive down there and my parents are with us. And so my parents are like miles ahead of us because my dad is just driving like a psycho. So he's flying in his big diesel truck and they go through a border checkpoint. And my mom, who like, she doesn't know that we have a bunch of shit in the car, but I think she was like, I'm going to let them know we're going through this border crossing just in case they have maybe tried to bring some shit.
Oh no.
Smart mom. Moms always know.
Uh-huh.
And so my mom texts me and she's like, hey, we just went through a border checkpoint and they had dogs. And that's all she said.
Oh shit.
She said, hey, we went to this checkpoint. They got dogs. And so I told Julia and we're like freaking out because we're like, oh shit. Like,
how much do you have?
Oh, it's personal amount, dude. I mean, like grams.
Uh-huh.
And so we all was like, fuck, dude. I mean, like, I have to believe that they're going to be looking for humans and like serious traffickers, not like just us with our personal smoke. But so, you know, we weren't taking any chances. I didn't want to be held up and I didn't want to be, you know, involved with the border patrol or anything like that. So, dude, we stopped in Del Rio, Texas. We stopped there. We like car washed my car. We cleaned the inside of my car for residue.
Wow.
Like we were like sterilizing this thing. We went and just rolled up everything we had. We smoked everything we could possibly smoke, and we left all of our shit like in some parking lot.
Uh-huh.
And we pulled up to the border checkpoint, and there wasn't even a fucking dog. And they just waved us right on through. Like, obviously, you guys are good. Go ahead. And then we looked at each other. We were like, "Fuck, no!" And so there we were, 10 hours away from any civilization, bro, in the middle of the desert, just fucking strung out, dude. I mean, we were looking for CBD cigarettes and all kinds of shit in the desert, man. We had to go ask some locals at the ghost town to like tell us where to find weed, and they really had no help or answers for us.
Them that?
Yeah, bro. We were like out there because we were like,
beans?
fuck, we're out here in the desert, and then there's nothing to do. I mean, and it's just weird artists and drifters out there. And yeah, we never found it, man. We took 4 or 5 days out there in the desert and got caught in like a blizzard and all kinds of shit, and no weed, man. Nothing to trim the anxiety down at all. We were just
left
out
with
there.
Yourself.
Yep, just suffering.
You didn't like it?
No, I hated it. Well, anytime I'm with my folks, you know, it's like, it's a little stressful already. And so then you add in like no weed. And so I was just like, oh my God, get me out of here. But the trip was, all in all, the trip was fantastic. If you can ever go out to like West Texas and Big Bend and like go down there, I mean, it's like the Wild West. It's exactly what you think in like, you know, the Western movies and all that stuff. And, you know, the border down there is like pretty much open, right? There's like no wall or nothing. But like, dude, if you go down there, you'll be like, yeah, nobody's living. It's crossing here. You're not going to survive. Like an animal will get you, the weather, the environment will get you. Like it is not, it's not forgiving.
Sounds beautiful. I mean, I don't know.
It is, dude. I totally, if you can go to Terlingua, Ghost Town, and have that experience, if you can, you got a letter?
Oh, yeah.
If you can go like out there into the state parks and shit, dude, it's so crazy. You wouldn't even believe it's still Texas. And, you know, as a pro Texas Texan, I mean, I love this place. And we have every type of geographical, you know, what do they call it? Topography or whatever, you know, from beaches to mountains to desert to plains.
And
we got it all, you know.
You were
don't
out
gotta
there
leave.
stone cold sober for 4 days. Anxious?
Pissed. I don't even get anxious. I just get pissed because it's like, dude, if I just had a smoke right now, nothing would bother me. Like none of this bullshit would bother me if I just could take one little puff, dude.
Fucking A. Well, here we are. We're puffing. Feeling good. Anything you want to say before we go?
Oh, I got a lot. No, I'm just kidding. Dude, this is great. Like I said, keep on this, man. I love joining you here in this room. I mean, I know there's a lot of big shows, powerful people in this room, and then of course this building. You know, this shout out to the Creek for
thank you
for growing and hosting us.
Shout out
yeah,
to the
like
Creek in the Cave studio and Creek in the Cave itself. It's like home. I view this place as like the heart of the city. I really like.
Dude, totally.
Sometimes I got to reconnect, and I'll just go sit in the back patio and
totally.
Just, you know,
and you never know who you're gonna meet. That's the coolest thing. Like you come here on any given night, you never know who's gonna stroll through.
Yeah, it's good to be here, even if I'm not doing something. Just to be back there, it's important.
Dude, it's cool that you guys are doing this and that the Creek puts you up like this. You know, not all venues and stuff are as nice.
I know.
So
you kidding me? I've been all over. Well, thanks again, man.
Dude,
I appreciate you.
Always. Check out Puff and Prosper. It's the podcast for stoners who succeed. If you want to see some entrepreneurs and influencers, you know, kind of give you insight on their day-to-day and peek behind the curtain to this industry from the people who are doing it the best. Check out Puff and Prosper. You can check us out on Instagram, on YouTube, of course. And yeah, just give us a subscribe. We're trying to get to that 1,000 mark. We're not even past 100. So please.
Fucking A.
But yeah, and we have a ton of brands going on there. A ton of people that I'm working with currently. I mean, like I said, I have minimal projects right now in cannabis, and that's on purpose. But the people that I'm working with, we're, you know, starting to push more promo and ads and stuff through Puff and Prosper, which is going to be great because people can get a discount on products and also feel safe knowing that it's coming from reputable people, reputable sources, which is not always common in today's wild west of a Texas cannabis industry. So,
oh yeah, it's nice knowing the farmer.
It is nice. Yeah, shout out to Jeremy Greens. If you guys wanted to try any of our Texas grown flower for yourself, go to jeremygreensfarm.com. Jeremy Greens with an S, farm.com. We got merch, we got flowers, and it's all by Texans for Texans and shipped directly to your door. Everything is 100% legal on a dry weight basis according to state and federal law. So you can rest assured. Now, if you have a drug test, sorry, don't do it, obviously.
Yeah.
But if you don't, come try some flower and grab some merch and support a small local business.
Fucking A. Thanks again, sir.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks,
It's
everybody.
been the
Thanks,
Hight
Creek.
Today show. You guys have a good one. Bye-bye.